This was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from R.L. Reeves Jr. in Duck Run, Kentucky.
No, he's not.
That's what it says here. What's Duck Run, Kentucky like?
Duck Run, Kentucky is where my mother was born. And I don't think it exists anymore. I don't think it's existed for 50 or 60 years since the post office burned down.
Wait, so that just wipes it off the map?
There wasn't that many people there to begin with. It was way outside the big city of Corbin. And I don't know how many people Corbin, Kentucky has in it today, but in 1933, I would imagine it was high 3 or low 4 figures. And that was the big city down the road.
Well, here is R.L.
I refuse to believe R.L. is from Duck Run, Kentucky.
Here is R.L. Reeves Jr.'s question.
As a matter of fact, they couldn't find Duck Run one month when the wind switched and blew in the other direction. They couldn't find it for over 3 weeks.
I'm hoping Jim Cornette will comment on the passing of Jim Blake, who in 1974 launched the Barbarian label as a vehicle for Jerry Lawler to release records like Bad News, 90-Pound Weakling, and of course the Ballad of Jerry Lawler.
Well, actually, we saw this. Mark James had retweeted one of the stories in the Commercial Appeal in Memphis, and Lawler had tweeted about it, and a number of people, this was last week, it happened. Jim Blake, a lot of wrestling fans anywhere wouldn't recognize that name, maybe slightly in Memphis would the wrestling fans recognize the name because he was never on television. He wasn't in the business, but he was friends of Lawler's from when they were in high school. And he was Jim Blake was a big collector, and he loved shit like I love, like we all love, old stuff. He had multiple collections, they said, in numerous storage facilities locked away. Who knows what he had stashed away in his 50 years as a collector / hoarder, but he loved wrestling. He loved music. He loved, entertainment and ephemera and stuff like that. And he's the one not only started Barbarian Records as a label in Memphis for the Lawler records, which branched out. Not only was it Lawler, but then Plowboy Frazier, and I have this, by the way, Plowboy Frazier fancied himself a country singer at one point. And when he's friends with Lawler's here, make a record. And I think it's an old Furlan Husky tune, like Four Walls, I believe.
That was one of the big things in the article with his obituary that I didn't know, that there was a Plowboy Frazier record. So now I'm on the look for that.
Well, you'll probably find the only one that's still in existence probably here at the castle because it wasn't a big seller. I mean, it sounded like a fucking live recording at a dairy farm. But he started not only Barbarian Records, but also he was behind the early programs, the photo book that they did in Memphis for a while in 74, where they would sell a photo book of the previous week's matches at the Coliseum. He did that. And then when Jarrett broke off and started his own promotion in 77, the first 10 or 12 weeks of the programs, Jim Blake had a hand in when they weren't just the 4-page fold over, but they had a middle, say, were more pages and there was more written material. And he was always trying to do something to merchandise because he loved collecting shit, but merchandise the guys. And I mean, people still, Barbarian Records label is still kind of a thing in Memphis, along with, Stax and all the other classic labels people remember, because he did some Lawler's songs at that point. He was so big in Memphis, they got radio play and they were heard of. And, he did some other things, and Memphis is such a music town, but that's the thing. He was just always a fan and liked, being involved with shit like that. And he did stuff on and off during the period of time because he knew Lawler. And, but he, just a fascinating guy in a variety of things. That was just the way that he touched the wrestling business. I saw him, 5 or 6 years ago. I went down and did a Memphis comic convention with Mark James. That's where Lawler had his Batmobile. And we were next to him in the booth, and the Batmobile plays the Batman theme song over and over. I sat there for 8 hours listening to 45 seconds of on a loop. But Jim Blake was there, and, taking pictures, looking around and everything. And he's a nice guy. Sorry, to hear about that.
Am I wrong in thinking that some people have said that it was Jim Blake in the Dr. Frank outfit?
Oh, Jesus. TV? No, it was not. Jim Blake was never a wrestler or dressed up as a wrestler.
No, but have you ever heard that before? That it was him?
No. What story are you trying to perpetrate here?
I'm not trying to perpetrate. I'm trying to say I thought I heard that somewhere, and I'm trying to get verification on it.
Well, that's what if he would have had to have wrestled, and he would have had to have been as big as Dr. Frank, and Jim Blake wasn't as tall as me.
All right, well, let's get another question.
Oh wait, are you saying it was him when they did the thing where it was
in the studio?
Dr. Frank was in the box?
Yeah.
I never thought to verify that it was the same Dr. Frank because that was his debut. But I never thought to ask, well, was that because it was Ken Dillinger? It was doing the gimmick. I never thought to ask, was it really Ken Dillinger in the box when you introduced him? Could it have been Jim Blake?
Well, I'm sure someone will chime in and let me know if I'm completely off.
Okay, Mark James, help us out.